Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of S.H.Figuarts Deka Red from Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger. Almost said Tokime, because I'm used to saying it for Go Busters. Anyhow, we are starting to get more Sentai teams, as you can see, which is really neat. And let's just go ahead and go over the box before I ramble on too much. So, Deka Red actually has a really cool box. As you can see, you got his number 1 right here, like his costume, which looks really nice, and it's just a really cool way of doing it. And then, like, you can see the majority of the box is like red, except for obviously you can't really see it on the front, but the style is red. It says Deka Red here. You got the police SPD logo up here. Special Police Dekaranger, it says down here. Dekaranger logo. Bandai and Tamashi. You got his name and Special Police on the side. Deka Red, just in case you forgot who you bought. It says Deka Red here on the side, showing him doing a pose. On the back, you know, you get Deka Red, and this is probably a bio of some sort. I can't read Japanese, sorry. Shows the parts it comes with. Bonus parts, which is the, I don't want to say grand power of the, for Akiba Ranger. I can't remember what they would call it in there. But, I know they have, like, the penultimate cannon and stuff. Anyway, so, and then it just shows poses you can get him in. But, so that is all cool. And so, as we just talked about, accessories. You obviously, I'll go over the fists first, like usual. You got the 2 closed fists, which I have on him right now. Then you get a bunch of different hands here. You got a pointing shenanigans hands, some relaxed hands, some special finger hands, and then you get some holding things hands for like the license and the weapons and such stuff like that, and some more relaxed hands and some slapping hands. And then you get the D-Magnum. I think they're the D-Magnums. If I got that wrong, I apologize. It's been a little while since I've seen Dekaranger. But this is the combined mode, obviously, for when he combines both guns into a finisher. And it's actually really well done. If you can see here, this plastic here is actually done clear, so it's sort of like, you know, this is the way it is because it's like a siren. It's supposed to be like the sirens on the top of cars. But really well done. So you get the combined mode, which I don't have on him, obviously. And then you get the 2 separate ones, which I do have on him, which I'm just going to show in a minute because they also come with holsters and stuff. And you get the SP license, which also I have attached to him, so I'll show that when I get over to the figure. I'll just show this right now since I have it here, is the Dekaranger cuffs that were only used in Akiba Ranger, obviously, which is their sort of grand power. If I can't remember the exact name, I apologize. I don't know why. It's like one of those things where you can just, it's on the tip of your tongue, and you just, it's like you can feel the answer, but you can't get to it. But they're really nice, nicely painted as usual with stuff. You obviously take these out and they can become like this, and they will work with Akiba Red. These will very likely make an appearance in my Akiba Red review, unless I completely forget, but yeah, there's not really much you can do with him officially, since they're for unofficial teams. So let's bring over to the figure for a second, and before I get into it, as you can see, you get the individual weapons here, which, like usual, just like the other one I showed you, are nicely painted. And they are on holsters. I'm actually going to take them out just because I feel like they're going to fall out anyway and put them back in later. But you can see the nice details on it if it can focus. And you can see the clear little plastic here again, which is a nice touch. And then you have the holsters, which attach via a peg system, and you really have to push them in. They stay in fairly decently. They do tend to come out a lot, but not as bad as this one here on the back for me. This holster is a separate piece, and you get the little SP license, which is really nicely detailed, which I can show right now. You don't have like the little letterings on there, but still pretty nicely detailed. I mean, it would have been kind of cool to get an open version, but it's fine. And wouldn't you know it, this came off just like I showed you. So you can, there's a little peg there. You have to push it in as best you can. Now this one I'm not going to take out because it's really hard to get in for me. But it has a similar peg system, except it kind of looks like a keyhole in a way. But the problem with mine is that the hole that's on his belt actually isn't fully hollow. There's like a little, like tumor or something. It's like a little groove or a growth, so that it of the plastic that they didn't all the way mold over. So it's like super difficult for me to get this to latch in because it's wanting to fit in there perfectly, but there's like that little notch on there that which won't let me get it in all the way. God, that sounded wrong. But it's really bothersome, and this frequently falls out, and I usually store this back here, so I have to be like super careful not to like breathe too hard or anything in general with this. But so yeah, that's what all the accessories you get with him. So now let's just go ahead and take a look at the figure himself. I'll make sure the light's on. And zoom in a little bit. Alright. So first off, we've obviously got his head sculpt here, which I think is pretty well done. Usually the head sculpts are well done on these Figuarts for Sentai. And it's got a really nice shine to it, just like on the show. They do a really good job. The visor has a nice shine to it. You got nice details here. The proportions seem right, which is good. So overall, very well done. The chest paint is well done. I think it looks pretty nice. Nice and streamlined. You got the SPD logo right here. The black and red looks really good together. They have these jank shoulders, which I hate, which I'll talk about in a minute, but this is more about the details right now. You got the logo over here, and overall it's pretty nicely painted. And other than this being a glossy plastic and this being regular type of a finish, there is no notable color discrepancy really. I mean, this is clearly more glossy, but it doesn't stand out as much as like Shinken Red's color discrepancies did, which just bothered me. SPD logo on his belt here, which looks pretty nice. You know, his whole bottom half's just red basically with these little boots, so there's not a whole lot of detail to go over, but I'd say that they did a really good job on his coloring, which looks good. Now for articulation, head's on a nice ball joint so you can get 360 movement and up and down, and all that typical good stuff. Okay, now, you have these little stupid joints here, which I really don't like. Now, they used these first on the Shinkenger ones, and I thought it was just because they were new, and then they didn't use them in the Gokaiger ones, and they got these really nice ones for Gokaiger, which I will show shortly here. And I thought they were done with them because they looked stupid. But I guess it's just like with rider Figuarts, they used various molds depending on the rider. But I don't like this shoulder style at all. It doesn't make sense. You have like this shoulder plate that like slides in and out, and then this completely hollow space here that you can always see. It's like, that's not how shoulders work. Your shoulder doesn't fold into your body like that. And like, see, like when you're doing that, it looks awkward and stupid. And I don't see why they couldn't have used the Gokaiger ones on there. It's just so horrible. I just really don't like it. But you do get some good movement, range of movement around here, as usual, and the swiveling, and the double elbow joint, and the swiveling at the fist. And then you have articulation at the waist and chest. I really can't hold it against it because it's the design of the figure. But you do, when you do this, like, you do get discrepancies with the line. But it's kind of hard to do because just in general, Sentai costumes are different than Rider, so you don't have that problem as much with Rider. A nice 360 ball joint here. Here you can see that would fall off. Swiveling here, double elbow joint, or no, elbow, this is his elbow. Double knee joint, swiveling here at the foot, and the typical toe action. So you do have the standard Figuarts articulation, which is good. And let me put this back. As you can see, would be slightly hindered by his holsters, which is a little bit annoying sometimes, but that's just the way it goes. But so let me just quickly bring in Gokaiger for comparison. Okay, you may think it's weird I'm bringing in Dawn instead of like Captain Marvelous since he's red, but Captain Marvelous is in a difficult place to get to. But so as you can see, these shoulders look a lot more normal. They look like a normal shoulder. You still get a slight gap under here, but it's not as noticeable. And when you bring it down, it just looks just overall better. Like, you can just see, this shoulder looks so much more normal than having two separate pieces here and then getting like his shoulder like literally folding into his body. So it just really bothers me a lot. And it's kind of unfortunate because I was really looking forward to this figure, but thank you, Don. You can go fix things now. So, get on to the final verdict here. Overall, I still do like the figure. I'm a little disappointed that I had so many nitpicks with it, which is basically that I don't like the shoulder mold they use for this series, and they'll obviously continue to use it for the other Dekarangers to be consistent. And just a little bit nitpicky with the holsters and stuff. I kind of wish at least, well, actually for all the holsters, I don't know why they just didn't mold them in, I guess for the packaging, but I just feel like it would be nicer. I mean, sure, you could worry about maybe breaking them off when you're posing it, but at least they'd be more secure and you'd know to be careful instead of having to deal with them always falling off when you're trying to pose it and such, and then having those QC issues of not being able to actually plug in the back one. So there were slightly some annoyances about this figure, but overall I still think he looks really nice. Like, his body style looks really good. I think it looks better than Shinken Red. It just looks a little more streamlined, and I feel like you just can't tell as much that it's a Sentai. Other than it's got like lines and stuff. I don't know why. It could just be me. And his helmet looks really good, so he's still a really nice looking Deka Red figure. I just wish there wasn't so many little complaints with it, but you're probably not like me, a lot of people that just don't like that mold, so you can easily look past it. So if you're a huge Dekaranger fan or SPD fan, I can still recommend it. I think it'll look good on the shelf. It's still probably the best figure of this scale that you can get to represent it and like to replace your MMPR SPD Musclehead figures. So yeah, it's still a good figure, so if you get it, I don't think you'll be that disappointed. It's just unfortunate that there's so many little problems I had with it. But I've rambled on enough. That is about it. Until next time, make sure you check out WritersRangersRambles.com for token news in the craziest way possible. Until next time, it's Dawson Ryder, signing out.